Portland cement plaster, also referred to as stucco, is for framed walls a multi-step installation process requiring a blend of various products and materials. Properly mixed and applied, stucco is non-combustible, highly water resistant, and suitable for a wide variety of building styles and architectural desires. Regardless of the style of building, stucco can meet the designer's demands. Completed, stucco can range in cement thickness from a skim coat to a 7/8 of an inch, depending on the system selected. Cement plaster is often selected for its code-compliant fire rating and preferred in multifamily projects for its low maintenance and abuse resistance for owners. The SMA manufacturers offer a variety of stucco systems and products to enhance your hardcoat stucco. The installation of stucco can and will vary due to regional practices around the United States. Stucco is suitable for any type of structure and can be applied over a variety of substrates. Stucco has been used for centuries all over the world and is suitable for all climates. Stucco may be applied using hand tools or by a machine specifically designed to pump plaster. Applying stucco is physically demanding and is a skill set requiring training and education on best practices. Before the plasterer applies the cement stucco to framed walls, the lather must install a water-resistant barrier, a reinforcement called lath, and various trim accessories. The installation of the water-resistant barrier and lath is critical to the success of any stucco project. The SMA has developed 7 online training modules for hardcoat stucco. 5 of the modules are for the lathers and plasterers. Upon completion of the course and passing a written exam, a certification card will be issued. This is through the SMA plastering contracting firm. These modules are also available in Spanish. There are separate learning modules for supervisors and inspectors. These modules were developed by experts in lathing, plastering, architecture, building science, and defect litigation. Modules 1 and 2 cover lathing. We will cover the materials and details you need to know as a professional lather. We'll also cover the application of lath and trim accessories. We'll look at what you need to know before you start lathing. Module 3 and 4 is plastering. We look at materials, mixing, and caveats. We'll look at which materials are best suited for your project. We continue with the application of base coats. We look at the hawk and trowel. We'll cover techniques with an ergonomical perspective to help improve production rates. We will look at the proper use of the straight edge or rod. We'll look at how to cut interior angles and shave walls to make them flat. We will then introduce you to the world of the plaster pump. This method of application can increase production rates and still maintain high quality stucco. Module 4 will cover the finish coat. We will look at cement and acrylic finish coats. We'll cover various textures and recommendations from some of the nation's best plasterers. The final module for the installers will cover the foam shapes, fog coating, and troubleshooting issues. These classes go beyond what the code requires. We will bring it home with a review of various stucco systems, including one-coat stucco, continuous installation, and making sure stucco works. This is over 2 hours of education for installers. Supervisor's module is designed for those who estimate and run the crews. We will cover common concerns or conflicts that you will run into. We'll help you identify issues and how to manage expectations. We'll have a basic look at building science, wind loads, and design pressures that will help you install a better stucco wall. The inspector's module is for those charged to inspect in-place stucco projects. Many inspectors are unfamiliar with stucco, and while we cannot make them a stucco expert, We can provide a basic checklist to help you identify the system, point to key factors, and identify trouble spots. We'll provide you a checklist and help you prepare a fair report to your building owners. Stucco must be installed to function as a durable, low-maintenance siding. The stucco membrane must be functional and attractive. In some cases, we'll need a building paper or house wrap. Laths are used to secure the cement membrane. Regardless of the underlying materials, hard coat stucco is applied wet and then hardens to a desired shape. A critical item is to make certain the stucco provides an effective system to manage water. There are three methods of managing moisture for stucco walls. The first is the barrier method. The second is the concealed barrier method. And the third is known as the rain screen method. The barrier method of moisture management is somewhat self-explanatory. Cement stucco is directly applied to masonry walls. This provides a decorative and protective coating. This is the most historical and popular method of stucco application around the world. As rain hits the stucco wall, a small amount of water is absorbed, but most of the water is repelled away. Even when a hairline crack develops in the stucco membrane, only a small amount of water will find its way past the stucco, and this is relatively harmless. This is due to the nature of cement and the mass of the masonry wall. Stucco over framed walls requires a slight but significant alteration in moisture management. We call this the concealed barrier method. This is a dual layer of defense against moisture. The first layer is the cement, plaster, or stucco. Because of the inherent sensitivity to moisture, we add a secondary or concealed barrier as a backup layer of framing. Unlike masonry walls, framing members over time are susceptible to even small amounts of moisture intrusion. As the rainwater hits the stucco wall, most of the water is repelled by our first layer of defense, the properly applied cement plaster membrane. However, we must anticipate small amounts of water getting past the stucco. Most entry points are around penetrations, like windows or cracks. The flashing or building paper makes an effective secondary layer of defense. This is the most common method of moisture protection for sidings used in the United States. Properly applied stucco has been removed from walls, and it is clear the secondary or concealed barrier and flashings can provide an effective code-compliant and moisture management system even in the most wet regions of the country. The rain screen approach essentially creates a wider gap between the substrate and the cladding material. This gap allows for enhanced drainage. Many sidings use furring strips to create this gap. The SMA believes that for stucco, a drain mat made specifically for stucco is a better option. These mats have a lining to keep cement from clogging up the drain path. Water intrusion has been the biggest fear and challenge for designers, builders, and contractors. Over the last decade, a series of leaky buildings has resulted in a loss of consumer confidence in several siding materials. It is critical to install stucco that will perform as promised. If we do not take care and lead our industry, others will do it for us through articles and manipulation of standards. In worst-case scenarios, it can be in the courtroom. These are not the headlines stucco needs to be making. Some believe the worst is behind us, and that may be so, but multi-million-dollar lawsuits are still in the news. We as an industry can stop this, and we must stop this. The concealed barrier and rain screen approach rely on the ability to have the secondary barrier shed incidental water down. This requires an installation to be in a shingle fashion, and is similar to how shingles on the roof are installed to shed water, upper rows always overlapping lower rows. Problems arise when there's a failure to adhere to the shingle fashion principle. The concealed barrier or building paper must tuck up and under windowsill flashings to adhere to the principle of shedding water. Then the building paper laps over flashings at the heads of doors and windows. This completes the shingle fashion principle, and its importance cannot be overstated. Properly rated windows must be flashed and integrated in a shingle fashion with the building paper to effectively shed water. Due to pressure differentials or vacuums between the inside and the outside of the building, the most common place for incidental water entry is around through-wall penetrations, such as windows. The small amount of water will travel down the window frame, and because the flashing concealed barrier were installed in a shingle fashion, the water continues down and ultimately out. If the lather inadvertently applies the concealed barrier over the sill flashing, this is called a reverse lap. This incidental water is now traveling down and will be directed behind the building paper. This reverse lap in all sidings is responsible for millions of dollars in water damages. Properly lapped keeps water out. Reverse laps direct water in, resulting in decay to framing and sheathing. The SMA training recognizes regional practices vary from Florida to Texas to California. We produce specifications and technical papers to help with stucco installations. The SMA has been published in many of the most recognized publications in the world. We ask that you visit our website to learn more about stucco and the stucco training program.